All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Wednesday, May 14th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Clayton, big weekend coming up. This is not Memorial Day weekend, but it feels like the summer begins this Friday/Thursday night previews. I do feel like this is going to be looked back at years from now as the start to the 2025 summer season.
So Thunderbolts was not. Thunderbolts asterisk slash New Avengers.
I don't feel like that's the start to this movie season. That's the start to an embarrassing campaign that Miss Flo is going to have to live down forever.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like there were some people online who took umbrage to the beating we laid upon the Disney marketers for that New Avengers campaign. I saw some feathers ruffled. I felt it out there. But again, I think years from now, people will accept New Avengers campaign was a disaster, was an embarrassment. Head should roll.
Truths are hard.
Truths are hard.
The
yes.
best truths are hard.
Yes.
If you have soft truth, it ain't truth, my friend.
Yes, a hard truth, and that's what we laid on the last episode. Go back, listen, accept. But I do think we're about to do the weekend preview for what does feel like the start of the summer.
Well, it's not Memorial Weekend, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of memorials in this movie.
Yes, and well, here's what okay, let's just say its name.
We're acting as if it's cursed in some way.
Well,
okay.
I'm going to say it. FDB, Final Destination Bloodlines. Bloodline or bloodlines? It's one line or multiple lines? Because I feel like it's the bloodline of one family is what death is after in this movie. Clayton is going to confirm the title in a second, but it is the newest Final Destination movie, comes out this Friday, and it feels like it's going to be the biggest one ever.
It is Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. Okay, so multiple bloodlines will be attacked in this movie.
Well,
according to the title.
I don't know.
They may have gotten it wrong, though. It may not mean what they wanted it to mean.
Well, here's, and I don't know any spoilers about this movie. I don't know anything. I don't know if it ends up, at the end, it turns out that it is a faculty movie instead. Because, that's the great marketing sort of thing that you would do, right? Is like have this be a Final Destination movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, wait.
Next week it's the new faculty.
Yeah, it's the new faculty.
I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like that is a Disney Marvel specific catastrophe. I do not think next week this movie will be retitled The New Faculty.
Oh, so those naysayers don't think that would be a good idea. Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen. But we've got Final Destination Bloodlines.
Well, the reason it's called Bloodlines, I believe, is that everything that's happened in the previous movies have come from one bloodline.
Okay.
One family originated this whole thing, but it's several bloodlines going out of a big disaster.
Well, then there's also, it's a Final Destination movie. There will be lines of streams of blood that will maybe converge, then go their separate ways. But there will be a lot of flowing blood in this movie, which people are excited about.
People are very excited about this. I think this, this is going to be one of those movies that we look back at as the reason why box office matters in a cultural sense.
Okay.
Because it's a bellwether.
Okay. Yep.
It's a wind test, right?
Stick your little fingy up to the wind, see how it blows. Yeah.
It is a temperature check.
Okay.
For what is going on in society and how people are feeling about the world and their future.
Okay.
And so I think this is, unfortunately for a lot of people, hitting at a very specific time.
Okay.
Where thoughts of the future are not necessarily rosy.
Okay. And you know what? Years from now, it could be retrofit to that anyway, because essays are always like, oh, look at the movie that came out. It fits perfectly into this essay I'm writing about that time.
Well, I already put the general idea into an AI essay generator.
Nice.
And it came out pretty well.
So you're going to have a byline in Slate in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
absolutely.
Great. That's huge for you. So what I think is so exciting and why I'm saying that this is the summer kickoff is that you look at this trailer, which is all we've seen so far, Final Destination Bloodlines, and the centerpiece of this trailer is a family barbecue, an outdoor barbecue. And the betting line on this movie, opening $40-50 million plus, huge. And I think that's in great part because it's a summer release date with a barbecue as the centerpiece of the trailer.
Yes.
I don't think we can underestimate how big this barbecue scene is for getting people excited about this movie.
That's true. It's getting people prepped for the season.
Yes.
And, this, at least on the East Coast, where this movie, people watch movies on the East Coast, they watch them on the West Coast, they watch them in the middle of the country.
Yep.
But when you look at where the biggest, haul for movies is, it's usually on the coast.
Yep.
It's going to be a rainy Saturday. It's going to be a rainy Friday. It's going to be a rainy Thursday.
Wow.
So
okay.
People are going to want to go to the movies where it's dry and think just around the corner there's a barbecue.
Yes.
And I won't
next weekend.
And I may not, step on a piece of glass and fall and then have a lawnmower shred my head.
Right.
Which
or my dad's head or my uncle's head. We don't know who that is
or my
yet.
guardian's head.
Head, yeah.
And this is all in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything.
Paid barbecue chef, maybe that guy in the trailer is just someone they hired to make steaks. We don't know. We don't know yet. We've only seen the trailer.
We don't know. But they're going to be thinking, oh man, that could be me very soon.
Yes.
Because right now I'm a little drenched. I'm a little wet.
Right. But soon I will be barbecuing. Yeah. I think that, because in the past, these Final Destination movies, they always have that big centerpiece opening kill, the famous one at the race car track. That was huge. And of course, the bridge and all the cars fell off the bridge.
The roller coaster.
The roller coaster. I mean, they're all great. The cold opens. Has there been a bad Final Destination cold open mass kill? The plane crash, of course.
That's the OG.
And that was the simplest one because it is just a plane exploding.
Mm-hmm.
But there was beauty in that simplicity.
The second one with the highway crash with the logs is
incredible.
There's only, I think, one subpar Final Destination movie, but even that,
was that the bowling alley? Was there not a bowling alley mass
that
kill?
started with a bowling alley?
Yeah, that didn't happen. Where it was just a bowling ball that just kept running over people's feet, and then that killed them. That didn't happen.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, because that to me would be subpar if that was one.
Yeah, that's about. But listen, I'm sure when this is a success, we're going to get many sequels, and there will be a point where we reach the nadir.
Yes.
And the nadir will be that idea that you have.
Yes, the bowling alley, the bowling ball that
where
gets
people's
loose.
Little toes just get smashed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're just, their bodies were on the way out anyway, so the bowling ball rolling over their foot was just that little nudge they needed.
Yeah.
It's the cold open of a Final Destination movie where they take an old age home out for an off-site excursion to a bowling alley.
Yes.
And the one bowling ball rolling around is enough to just take all of the old people
and
out.
They're like blown, and there's someone who's blown over with a stiff breeze.
Yeah. Well, someone is drying a bowling shoe. Some kind of air dryer, and then it just knocks
the
over
guy
an
across
old lady.
the room.
Yeah. But this one, not the bowling alley with the old age home excursion, this family barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is resonating with people. I think this scene is really resonating in the trailer, and I think that is why the expectations are so high.
Well, there also was a previous trailer to this where I believe it happened. It took place in a tattoo parlor.
Okay.
And a gentleman who is heavily inked, maybe a ne'er-do-well, might be just mad at their parents.
Okay.
Who knows? Also gets himself into some trouble with a, Rube Goldbergian death scene. And that got a lot of play on the internet too. All of the marketing for this film has been exceptional.
Yes. Yeah, they're really going... they've managed on this movie to get past the one big trouble that Final Destination movies always have with breaking out as horror movies, and that there's not a villain.
Mm-hmm.
The Final Destination movies have great kills and set pieces, but there is no Freddy, there is no Jason, there's no Art the Clown.
Yeah.
But this one, they've managed to use the history of the franchise to go to that next level.
Yeah, yeah.
People are excited because it feels like, oh, this is the culmination of me having watched 20 years of Final Destination movies.
And in a larger sense, and I'm just going to paraphrase from the AI-generated essay that that got spit out.
Okay.
Got shit out.
Yeah,
when I put in a few just disjointed thoughts as to how this could be resonating with the culture and why it's resonating.
Right, dropping on Slate within the next 2 weeks.
Yes, and what it could mean is that I think we're at a point now in society where powers bigger than ourselves are the enemy. Like we don't have control. We realize we don't have control of our lives. So and by the way, this is an AI. This is an AI's idea. And
it sounds it. Yeah. Which I guess is great.
This is great.
Yeah.
And then so people are really resonating with that as the protagonist, as this is a reflection of our real world. Mm-hmm. It's not a guy with a knife. It's not Freddy Krueger,
right,
with the blades in the dreams. This isn't a dream.
It's society.
This is society.
This is society.
And this is how we live now.
Yes. I love that this AI-generated essay that you are a part of did use the phrase, this is how we live now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. It's great to see that the AI could get to that level of hackery.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding. So, yeah, I think there's that. I think the barbecue thing is huge. I think people are ready for summer. And this is it. This is the kickoff to the summer movie season. I am so excited for these movie theaters who probably a couple of months ago, they're like, oh, Final Destination, those always do fine. That'll be a good weekend.
Yeah.
They're about to get a great weekend.
Yes.
Because of this movie. They are, it must be so nice to be a theater manager, someone who works in concessions, a couple of days out from the weekend, to know that a movie is about to overperform the expectations it had a month ago. You know you are going to be flinging so much more popcorn this weekend than you would have thought when the schedule was set 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yes.
I hope they are ready for it. Which is why it's a must. We are a must listen for everyone, but if you work in a movie theater, you got to listen to the BO Boys because you got to just be ready.
You got to be prepared, yeah.
For a weekend like this where Bloodlines is going to overperform, and you are going to overperform with popcorn sales. Yeah, and you have to have those kernels.
Yes. Yes.
You have to have those kernels ready.
So I'm trying to think of a sequel or a continuation to a popular horror franchise that has had a big layover.
Okay.
Like a time where there wasn't a movie, and the movie totally overperformed.
I mean, it's
Halloween.
Well, that was what I was
Halloween 2018.
Yeah, that's
the last one before that had been the 2009
the second zombie, the second Rob
one,
Zombie. Okay,
which was not well liked.
Okay, but even those did like open to 25 million based on being Halloween. But yes, the Halloween 2018 was such a big leap.
Right? So that opened in the 80s, correct?
That opened the original Halloween. I'm going to say 1981.
No, I'm sorry. The Halloween 2018 opened to 80.
Oh,
correct?
Yes, that opened to 80, 82, something like that. Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, people are saying 50 to 60.
Wow.
But what were they saying for Halloween 2018? I think they were probably saying 50 to 60.
So, okay. I mean, is that where your head's at? That this could be that Final Destination Bloodline could do an $80 million opening. Now, it doesn't have Michael Myers. Again, they're doing a great job getting people excited about the history of Final Destination, about how this is a generational trauma, and people love generational trauma, but there's not the marquee villain. We haven't had death personified in these movies. That would be the thing that
other
gets
than
it.
Tony Todd. I mean, Tony Todd is death, but
Yeah.
he doesn't go around strangling people
Yes,
or
yes,
going
yes.
around shoving people downstairs or anything like that.
So could it get to that level? Because that is right now where the betting lines are at, 40 to 50.
So I guess 76 is where Halloween
2018 got to 76. Okay.
76, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, Halloween is just a bigger franchise than Final Destination.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll get to our actual predictions.
Yeah.
Listen, I think we're both feeling the over right now. We're both feeling the over.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. This could be, again, this is the summer kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. Because this is going to overperform. It's going to sell so many more concessions than these theaters thought it was going to sell a month ago.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go into next week and Memorial Weekend, and it's just blow the roof off the place.
I mean, it's Lilo and Stitch.
And Tom Cruise.
And Tom Cruise.
Fighting for his life. On
yeah.
that.
I mean, holding on.
Hold on.
This we asked for illustrations, and we famously,
yeah.
fuck, it's a raw feed. We famously asked for Paddington peeing on Captain America's shield.
Yes.
And we got some great,
Amazing.
we got one of the most, I mean, we had really great versions of that, but we got an exceptional one that just has the look on Paddington's face while he's peeing on this shield.
Mm-hmm.
It's akin to the Mona Lisa smile.
It's the Mona Lisa smile.
It's better than that.
Yeah.
It's better than
Definitely better than the box office for Julia Roberts' Mona Lisa smile, which did fine, but was not a breakout hit.
Oh, absolutely. But what I would ask somebody to do is Tom Cruise. He loves to hold on to the sides of things, moving vehicles. He loves to hold on to trains, planes, automobiles,
helicopters,
whatever this man can hold on to that is going at high speeds, he will.
Mm-hmm.
And what about Stitch driving a spaceship?
Okay.
And guess who's holding on for dear life to the spaceship? Is Tommy Cruise.
Yeah.
That is an illustration I think we should ask for. I'm saying directly to the camera because we're YouTubers. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, artists.
Hey, artists.
Draw this, make this from a pastiche, like cut it out of magazines. Do not AI it, though. We don't want that.
No, we only use AI for when Clayton writes think pieces for Slate.
Because it was a requirement.
Oh wow, it had to be AI.
It had to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I said, "I'll write it myself." They said, "No, you won't. Here's the engine.
Yeah,
plug in the ideas." And I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
So
the byline is by Clayton and AI.
Yeah. So do that. That'll be really fun. We're not making fun of Tommy, huh?
No, we love Tommy.
He saved theaters years ago. The reason why we have these movies and the reason why Lilo and Stitch can bury Tom Cruise next weekend is because of Tom Cruise.
Yes. If Maverick hadn't saved box office, Lilo and Stitch would not be out there next weekend kicking Tom Cruise's ass.
Yeah.
It would not be allowed. It would not be possible. We'd have like 5 theaters left if it wasn't for Maverick. So thank you, Tom Cruise. You're about to get your ass kicked in a week, but thank you. But listen, we got a great text today from past and future guest host Erin, and she sent us a great Instagram video from Tom Cruise where he is standing atop the IMAX in London, which I have been to. I saw the last Indiana Jones movie, Dial of Destiny, at that IMAX. Great IMAX, great tea, great crumpets at that theater.
When are you and Clemmer going to go together to the London IMAX?
We got to get our passports in order. I don't know what Clemmer's documentation situation is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be ironed out there. And he'd have to get a leave of absence from Barstool, but I think that is in the works.
Yeah.
A European vacation style spinoff, myself and Clemmer.
So
we would definitely go to that IMAX in London where Tom Cruise stood atop. It's a must see.
Would he be the compact traveler? Could you fold him into a suitcase?
I mean,
put them in the overhead.
The overhead would be great. It would save us money on the tickets, and we could spend that money elsewhere. So if I was able to get him into a suitcase for the overhead, that's so many more IMAX movies we could see in London.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all on the table. But Tom Cruise, he was standing on that IMAX in London. He loves movies, theatrical. He's working for it, and we'll preview that next weekend. We are not here to bury Tom Cruise, but Lilo and Stitch are coming.
That's what Lilo and Stitch are here for.
Yeah, but this weekend, Bloodlines will overperform.
Mm-hmm.
It's so exciting, so exciting. And is there anything else of note coming out this weekend in wide release?
I mean, there's the Weeknd.
Well, there's one. I will say one movie that I watched a trailer for. There was something called The Ruse, and it is a thriller, a horror thriller from, I forget what small entertainment. I think it was Seismic Releasing, and it's about a young woman who takes a job as a caretaker for an old lady. People start telling her this house might be haunted. Also, the old lady possibly could be crazy. And it's
a ruse.
Then at the end, it's a ruse. And we don't know what the ruse is, whether she's pulling a ruse on the old lady's pulling a ruse on her, ghost pulling a ruse on all of them, nosy neighbors are pulling the ruse because they're just lying about the ghost and the old lady being crazy. I don't know what this ruse is.
Okay.
But there is a ruse that is called The Ruse.
Well, is it R-U-S-E?
It is R-U-S-E.
Okay, so not R-O-O-S.
Not R-O-O-S.
So it's not kangaroos.
It's not kangaroos, no. This is not a Kangaroo Jack situation.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not a backdoor Kangaroo Jack sequel.
But there's not like rabid kangaroos in the walls.
I don't think that's happening in this movie, but I would love to see that movie.
Because that would be a ruse on the audience.
If there are kangaroos in the walls that somehow the inhabitants of a house do not know about, it would be that's a tough one to pull off. But if you could pull that off, that's an all-time low-budget thriller. Well, I guess high budget. I guess having kangaroos in a movie is hard to do in a low-budget movie.
No, not if you own them outright. I mean, not if you buy them somewhere cheap and then
kangaroos fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah,
that's true. You got a kangaroo guy.
So,
but no, The Ruse coming out this weekend. I do not think it has anything to do with kangaroos or kangaroos who live in a wall.
Now, I don't know if you caught this.
Okay.
That you did this, but you must have such little respect for a pretty big name actor that is, really hot with the young people.
Okay.
Jenna Ortega. You cut me completely off.
I was going to go back to it. I just wanted to get The Ruse out there before I forgot. But yes,
okay.
Of course.
But it felt disrespectful because I started talking about this Jenna Ortega film.
It was disrespectful to you, not to her.
All right. Well, yeah. I know that. I think it could be disrespectful to both of us.
Okay.
Like it's possible that both things can be true in this moment. That you completely interrupted me while I was trying to go to a different segment.
Okay, hurry up.
Okay. Wow. That I was really making me angry there when you said that.
No. I was just
You were telling me to hurry up with what I was saying. Okay.
No, well, what's the name of the movie?
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Hurry up and there's something else.
Hurry up tomorrow.
Hurry up tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Hurry up tomorrow.
Yes, hurry up.
Yeah. Hurry up tomorrow, starring Jenna Ortega and The Weeknd, whatever his real name is. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna do the rapper changes their name to their real name in the movie thing for The Weeknd yet, because this isn't an Ice-T situation. This isn't like he has not earned it. This is an Ice Cube situation.
Okay.
He hasn't earned it.
Right.
You know
so like
I mean?
Ludacris, when you talk about the Fast series, you will call him Chris Bridges.
Yes. Because he's earned it. He's in movies that have made money.
Wow.
The only thing The Weeknd has done is a terrible show that nobody liked on HBO. And I know it's not TV, it's HBO.
Great cameo in Uncut Gems.
right? But that's not enough for me to use your biblical name.
Okay.
I will use Jenna,
Jenna.
Ortega's name, but I'm not using whatever the Weeknd's real name is.
So Hurry Up Tomorrow, their movie, comes out this weekend. We've seen the trailer a few times. I will say I cannot remember, or maybe I never figured out what the plot of the movie seemed like it was going to be. It seemed like it was a lot of.
It's just it's a vibe, Pat. You either get it or you don't.
It's a vibe trailer. It's images and music and hey, listen, that kind of movie seems like it would be a better sell of a vibe movie if it was coming from a director or a star producer who people had respect and a relationship with. It's hard to sell, hey, here's a vibe movie from The Weeknd, whose last project was The Idol.
Yes. Now, apparently this film is written and directed. Okay, here's the thing, though.
Oh, it is a name director.
It is a name director. It's the Krisha...
Yeah,
it comes at night and waves gentleman.
Okay.
Trey Edward Schultz.
Okay, I forgot that. So it is a filmmaker who people have he's not a giant indie director.
People sort of know what he's done, but if I scream that name in a crowded church,
yeah,
nobody would know.
Nobody would know.
They'd think I was screaming my own name.
Yes. If you scream that in a crowded church, the priest, the deacon, whoever would not start listing off Trey Edward Schultz movies from the altar.
They would say, "Trey's your name? Trey, could you not interrupt this?"
Yeah. And then they would pass you a snake to handle. That's where you're going.
Yes.
So I don't know what the audience for this movie is. Maybe some Krisha fans who are still excited about Trey Edward Schultz movies. But is The Weeknd a negative? That's what I'll throw out there. You got Jenna Ortega.
I mean, is Jenna a negative? She's had so many stinkers.
I don't think she's a negative. I mean, Beetlejuice.
She's starting to be a negative for me.
Beetlejuice. We're not even a year past Beetlejuice. Her biggest hit, giant hit that came out this past September. We're only
But those are big IP movies. This is by a pretty much no-name director.
No, I know that, but to say that, how are we only whatever this is 8-9 months out of Beetlejuice, and it does feel like we are already writing off Jenna Ortega, when she should be at the height of her powers.
I just think there's only so many mediocre to bad movies you can do as somebody who is emerging. Like, you don't see Zendaya doing this.
Right.
You don't see Zendaya in every crappy little A24 low budget movie or doing a movie with Halsey.
Okay.
I mean, it's possible. Zendaya could be in a movie with Halsey, but I don't think she's doing a movie with Halsey now.
Right.
So I think as for Jenna, she's in trouble, I think. Okay. I still think there will be people that will go to see her because of this. And then Wednesday season 2 is coming out, so that's just going to be a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be hot again. She's the writer. She's the auteur of that series. She rewrote all the scripts.
Every one of them.
Every single one of them. She was putting out the Kind bars at Crafty. She did everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but Death of a Unicorn, for you, that really sticks in your craw. You think that the audiences really are going to hold that against Jenna Ortega?
Jenna. Here's the thing. Thank God Friendship happened.
Okay.
Because Paul Rudd is rebounding, I think, very strongly.
Huge per screen average in limited release this past week.
Biggest of 2025, Friendship.
6 theaters, so you always have to take it with a grain of salt. But the people in those 6 theaters packed those 6 theaters last week.
And we'll touch on Friendship in the mailbag because we want to talk about that. But the Weeknd question.
Okay.
He is one of the most streamed artists in all of the world.
Yeah.
I think if you look on Spotify, I think they still have what number people are streamed in the world. And I bet you he's probably top 20, if not
Bigger
top
than the
10.
Strokes.
Bigger than the Strokes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll dip into the mailbag right now because we're talking about it anyway. We got an email from the great Danny Escamilaggi, host of I Screen, You Scream 4, number 4 movies. And he sent us this subject: Death versus The Weeknd. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Just want to throw in a question regarding this box office weekend. It's a fun one, too. Who has more IP recognition in terms of this weekend, Death or The Weeknd? To me, I'd say Death is the bigger IP itself, not because of a franchise it represents. In my eyes, people want to witness and see how death works, and death is in our everyday lives. Affects millions of wannabe-o cousins, wannabe-o brothers, wannabe-o sisters, wannabe-o relatives, and even wannabe-o people. That gets the youngsters wanting to understand what is the meaning of death. So they obviously come to see this movie and eventually want to be part of the newest generations that will be traumatized, but also enjoy this as an amusement park ride. And so hyped to see this movie. I'm going to get nuts. Think we'll make $41 million. Okay, so Danny throws out the IP question. You said The Weeknd, one of the most streamed artists in the world.
Third in the world as of recording.
Okay.
He's third in the entire world.
So the Strokes are fourth. Weeknd sneaks in ahead of them. Is The Weeknd bigger than Death as a brand? The Weeknd, the artist, not the concept of Friday night through Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Just The Weeknd. His name, which we will not say because as an actor he hasn't earned it. So The Weeknd, the performer, or Death.
Well, okay.
It's a tough one because Death has been around since the beginning of time, The Weeknd is the third most streamed artist on Spotify.
Yeah, and you know, there are artists like U2's been around for a long time, but they're not as popular as The Weeknd at this point. So the time you've been around doesn't really matter all that much when you think about it.
Right.
So,
like at a point, you know, Actung Baby comes out, U2's bigger than Death.
Yeah.
But Death now is bigger than U2.
And there's a beat. I mean, there was a time when the Beatles were bigger than
Death and bigger than Jesus.
Jesus, bigger than anything.
Yeah.
And so when you think of how often Weeknd songs are played on the radio and streamed, and then you think of how many deaths happen, I wonder what happens more often right now.
There's so many deaths. People die so much.
But there's a way, so that's true. There's remote places in the world where there are multiple deaths that are not even being recorded.
Right. And in those places, they might not be streaming The Weeknd.
That's true. But also, there are probably places where somebody is playing a vinyl of The Weeknd over and over again, and that can't really be documented unless they're going on Twitter or X or Blue Sky and saying, tweeting every time they listen to it.
Yeah, which people don't do that.
They don't do that. So there's a lot of undocumented deaths. There's a lot of undocumented listening to Weeknd music.
Yeah.
I think IP wise, I think Death is bigger.
I think Death is
at
bigger
least at the cinema.
I think Death is bigger too. Yeah, because in movies, so many movies have death in them, even beyond the Final Destination movies.
This movie might have death in it.
Right. Hurry Up Tomorrow might have death in there.
Yeah.
Whereas there's so many movies that have death in them but don't have The Weeknd or Weeknd songs on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Death is a bigger IP. I mean, listen, it's going to be a much bigger movie than The Weeknd's movie. Hurry Up Tomorrow is...
It's going to do JS. It's going to do JS.
Wow. JS. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a bigger bomb than Death of a Unicorn, right? And that's a movie that had death in it.
So
it's a movie that had death in the title. Death in the title. Whereas Weeknd's, there's so many movies that have death in the title. Movies with Weeknd in the title. Is Weekend at Bernie's the big one?
But Weekend at Bernie's has death in it. It's about death.
Death. Wow. Even a movie with Weekend in the title It's about death.
They knew that the Weeknd wouldn't be enough. They needed death.
Right.
That right there clinches the argument that death is bigger than the Weeknd in any capacity, whether it's the artist or the actual concept.
Yeah, because when you think back to Weekend at Bernie's, that movie that we all think about every day, that Clayton has a AI-generated slate piece that's dropping in 2 months about Weekend at Bernie's. When you think about that movie, you think about the corpse aspect. You don't think about the fact that it took place on a weekend, even though weekend is in the title.
Yeah.
No one thinks back, hey, remember Weekend at Bernie's and how it took place on a Saturday. You say, hey, remember Weekend at Bernie's, how they moved that corpse around and everyone thought he was alive, but he was dead. Not he was dead on a Saturday, just that he was dead. So
I just actually put the Weekend at Bernie's and what does it mean for society now into the AI slate article generator.
Oh, amazing.
And it basically said that, you know, we all feel like we're surrounded by death. Death we're dead and we don't even know it.
Wow.
And any sort of like the reason why people are having more parties and they're trying to, you know, dance their troubles away is because we all feel like we're Bernie.
Yes.
We're just, you know, we're partying at the edge of the world.
So
right? The end of democracy. We're dancing on the bones of democracy.
I'm so glad that the AI generator got Dancing on the Bones of Democracy in your Weekend at Bernie's remembered article.
The whole thing, that's a little muddled because it's AI generated slop.
You're there to clean it up.
I'm going to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's some words in here that I wouldn't use, like pretty bad
Okay,
stuff.
so
I
just
don't,
clean
but I'll
those
delete
up and
that.
don't say it. Okay, so I think that settles that. And we'll talk about it on Monday when this number comes in, what Hurry Up Tomorrow's opening weekend will mean for Jenna Ortega.
I mean, we could be looking at the death of a career.
Oh.
I mean, this is too small of a movie.
It's too small for that. And Wednesday's coming out, and I think there'll be Beetlejuice in the next couple of years.
You said it 3 times.
Yeah. It's not CJ here. Come on. This is not a CJ situation.
I can't believe you said Beetlejuice 3 times.
So we mentioned friendship earlier. Let's get into keep going in the mailbag because we got an email from Tyler who said, subject friendship, boys, do you see any rhyme or reason to Friendship's release schedule or is it another botch by A24? Thanks, Tyler. So Friendship had a 6 theater release last weekend. And as we said, huge, the biggest per screen average of the year so far. It expands wider this coming weekend, and then it goes wide Memorial weekend.
They're platforming it.
I like this.
Why do you like platforming in this day and age?
Here's why I like platforming.
Okay.
Here's why I like platforming here. We saw this film.
Yes.
We saw this film Sunday night. In fact, it wasn't just us. It was a full house, and one of the people in that theater was a wannabe old boy Nate, who we had never met in real life before. We're going up the escalator, the most famous escalator of all time, the escalator at the AMC Lincoln, best theater in the world.
Yes.
Well, the London IMAX theater is pretty great, but best theater in the continental United States. We're going up that famous escalator, the most famous escalator ride there is, and wannabe old boy Nate, hey guys, and he says he's a listener. We chat him up beforehand. We go our separate ways because we have assigned seats at this movie, and then we reconvene after the movie. We chat for a bit, go down the famous escalator to leave, and then go our separate ways because, we don't live in a dorm or anything.
It was the perfect interaction.
Perfect interaction.
Textbook.
Yes.
Textbook on both ends.
We nailed it, but you knew we were going to. So I just want to say, hey, Nate.
Hey, Nate.
You nailed it. You nailed that interaction. You met your heroes, and your heroes left not thinking you were an a-hole. So that's great job.
Yeah.
But the movie.
Yes.
We saw this movie, Friendship, Paul Rudd, Tim Robinson. It's basically the Tim Robinson sketch show into a movie. It's not a sketch movie, but it's an hour and a half of that.
Yeah.
We really liked it.
Hot crowd.
Hot crowd. The crowd loved it. Crowd was young.
Young.
This was not a bunch of 80-year-old men reliving the Monty Python days.
All these people could have recovered from a bowling ball rolling over their toes.
100%. That would not have killed them.
No.
They loved it. The movie did great. A24 knows they have the goods here. This is not going to be There's Something About Mary. This is not a big mainstream comedy.
No.
But I think this is where platforming works because it's all about building a buzz. And you can't platform everything. You can't platform it when you don't got the goods. But a movie like Friendship, I do think a couple of weeks of, we're talking about biggest per screen average in the country. That's going to be something that people start hearing.
But that's because of us.
That's because us.
We will do that.
But
that's us.
That's us. But it's going to get out there. And I think that's a positive thing for people to hear, build the buzz. Man, those coastal elites who I aspire to be like, they're loving this movie. I get to see it soon.
So that's the difference, Pat. It's exclusionary. Let people see this movie when they want to see this movie. Because when they hear that this movie's great and they hear that it's really funny and the crowd is hot and the crowd is young, and I'm saying hot as in they were ready to laugh. I'm not saying about their appearance because I wasn't checking people out at the theater. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, my eyes were on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to think, I got to see this tomorrow.
Right.
But I can't. So then how am I going to do? Am I going to go on and cam? Am I going to watch a cam version of this? Am I going to go to the pirate ship and watch this?
No.
Or are they going to be, by the time it gets to them, they're going to say it's old news. This is a movie that you should advertise everywhere. I mean, listen, if there was friendship spots during the playoffs, during the Knicks, beating the pants off the Celtics, that would be great.
Yeah.
But
R.I.P. Tatum.
Yeah. But you could also have this happen on the internet where people watch comedy and interact with comedy and build buzz that way. This is a fan base that is very active online.
And they're spreading the word of these per screen averages. I usually...
But if they're telling their friends in Idaho about this movie...
You'll see it in 2 weeks.
By that point, they're seeing Bloodlines and they're seeing Lilo and Stitch, and they're seeing other stuff.
But this is
over.
Part of the marketing for this movie, the success. And usually I will say that when a movie does its big promotional blitz and then it's not in theaters everywhere for weeks, that's a problem. But this movie is not doing an all-in promotional blitz right now. They're doing 6 theaters in the key tastemaker cities, New York and LA, a few more of those this weekend. And for a movie this small and this weird, the mainstream buzz is great of hearing it's doing really well. I think that is a key part of the campaign for this. If this was a movie that was doing huge promotion for the movie, but doing it in a platform release, we've talked about this before, where that is a huge problem. But that's not the case here. They need the buzz of the per screen average to be part of the marketing campaign. They need to be a little exclusionary to get people to be excited to see this movie that otherwise is not mainstream at all. The per theater average buzz is mainstreaming it to people in the middle of the country, the plain billies who hear, oh, high per screen average, maybe this isn't as weird and hard for me to understand as it seems from the trailer.
When you're talking about the mainstream, who are you talking about in the sense of like comedy fans? And
I think mainstream young people.
But I think You Should Leave is one of the most popular comedy programs there is going right now on Netflix, and it's available to everybody immediately.
It is, but it's still an acquired taste. You can't look at me and say that this is The Hangover. This movie is not The Hangover.
But look at something like Napoleon Dynamite. That was a movie that's not mainstream, and that was a huge.
I would bet if we go back that was platformed.
But it's a different time.
It's a different time.
They were not able to use the internet, and the internet was not the way it is now that you could make this movie have buzz.
There was dial-up. But people were...
I knew
Napoleon Dynamite came out years after Blair Witch Project. They could have had a mini mystery with Napoleon Dynamite. Is he dead? You have to stumble on the mini sites. The internet was the internet.
Internet was one of the things people did. It wasn't people's entire existence like it is now. That was the difference between Napoleon Dynamite. If you ask me how often I was on the internet when Napoleon Dynamite came out, what is that, 2000 and...
I'm going to say 5.
5?
Yeah.
4 or 5? 4 or 5. I would say... it depends on what my, it depends on...
You were out cycling.
Well, he's a big Lance Armstrong guy.
Yeah.
But it depends on how my dial-up was and whether I even had a computer or a laptop to access. And I was probably downloading stuff from LimeWire.
Now... Listen,
that's set it and forget it. I was downloading MP3 and it was taking 6 hours. I walk away from the screen. I'm out cycling like Lance Armstrong.
Cycling, again, steroid cycles.
I was on both cycles.
You were on both cycles. So
a bicycle, and I was on the chicken and broccoli.
So, and Kumail chicken and broccoli. He's still contractually obligated to keep injecting chicken and broccoli.
Was there...
Because you never know, the Eternals might pop back up in a stinger someday.
Was there a giant chair in the Marvel live stream for Doomsday that just said Eternals on it, and it was like a huge chair that they could all sit in?
Oh,
because I don't think they should get their own chair.
I think it like a beanbag chair.
It was a
beanbag couch that says the Eternals.
It was like a dirty dorm room beanbag chair.
Yeah, cigarette burns on it.
Yeah, and it had bong water all over it.
Yeah,
and that said the Eternals, but it was like a piece of tape.
Yeah,
that had black Sharpie marker.
Yeah.
Someone do that. Splice that image.
They'll do another live stream.
Splice that image to the live stream.
Yeah. So
hack the feed and add that image to the live stream.
Hack the feed. Hashtag hack the feed. I think that the platforming works in this situation for this size of movie. We'll see in a couple of weeks.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think they should have blasted it right into people's face.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fire hose this shit.
I don't know if Friendship is the type of movie that you do that kind of all
I think you're underestimating the amount of people that are into that sort of comedy.
Listen, the crowd we saw it with was red hot.
They were red hot.
Young
and hot.
Yes, for the movie.
Yeah. For the movie.
Let's see. Okay, here's a big one that I think we got to cover, and then I think that this is the big topic to lead us into our prediction.
Oh, okay.
So we got an email from AJ, from Wannabe Oh Boy AJ, formerly in Austin, but Wannabe Oh Boy AJ. Subject says yes, with it looks like 5 exclamation points, and he says, "Dear BO Boys, I am writing to you on the cusp of a very auspicious eve. It has come across my desk that the next co-collab has been announced in the form of Godzilla X Kong Supernova. I cannot think of another more exciting announcement of a collab. I may be a few G&Ts deep, but this seems like the most momentous announcement of recent memory. Will this collab boom or bust?" And let's see. Oh, also he says, "I accidentally slipped collab, BO Boy's pronunciation, into a company meeting recently by accident. People were confused. Love, AJ." Listen, I think if you're out there and you're a listener and you got a job, slip more and more references from the BO Boys into meetings and see where that gets you.
Say things are slam dunk. Say this is going to make Bafa Bobo.
Yeah. Start your meeting, if you're doing a presentation, by saying, "Fuck it, we're doing it live. It's a raw feed," and then PowerPoint.
And if you're on, Zoom or RIP Skype, say, "Hey guys." Start out with a "Hey guys."
That's how you start your meeting. Hey guys. Yeah. So, did you know about this announcement that it's coming out in 2027, Godzilla X Kong Supernova? So we don't know. No one knows what the Supernova part is. maybe it's probably an alien, maybe it's a Godzilla alien. There's been different space versions of these creatures.
Yeah.
I don't think that matters right now.
No affiliation with the show Rockstar Supernova.
I don't think so, but who knows? That could be the case, but we don't know. I think all that matters is they're sticking with the collab. It is Godzilla X Kong, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
It shows me that they know the collab was the reason why the new Empire did Bafa Bobo.
Mm-hmm.
They know the collab is the brand going forward.
Yes.
And we officially now have a new on-screen team.
Mm.
Godzilla X Kong, the collab, they are the new Hope and Crosby.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter what the movie is around them, as long as you got the two of them in a collab, you got a hit.
Scott Baio and Buddy Lembeck.
Yes. But big screen.
Yes.
They never broke out of the big
Zapped.
screen.
Are you forgetting Zapped
Okay.
ever happened?
Okay. But they didn't get a Zap 2. And we're getting...
There was a Zap 2, but they were too big to be in it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Godzilla X Kong, they are, unlike Zapped, they're re-upped for the sequel. I think this is fantastic.
This is going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
That we are we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
The young people are Generation Kong.
Mm-hmm.
They love King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
King Kong, when you talk about, when we see something like Snow White fail, and then you see something like a Lone Ranger movie fail and a Tarzan movie fail.
Yeah.
And
a Robin Hood movie.
A Robin Hood movie fail.
Yeah.
But then you see Kong.
Yeah.
Who is bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And he's
born in the first movie was what, 1930?
Yeah.
You know who
he could be as musty as any of them.
You know who was King Kong's biggest fan when I was a kid was my grandpa. Grandpa Pete loved King Kong. Showed us King Kong as the second I was able to understand images on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
We got to watch King Kong. He loved that this ape was so big and he kicked so much ass. And I think he imagined if I was only this ape, I'd go around the old neighborhood and I'd kick ass like King Kong. And he was a big guy and he could kick ass, but he always looked up to Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a man who has been dead for 20 years now. R.I.P. Grandpa Pete.
R.I.P.
And he loved King Kong. Rest in pizza.
Yeah.
That was his dream. And he loved King Kong. And kids today love King Kong as much as he did.
And that was an old movie when he liked it.
It's an old movie when he liked it. There is no sturdier IP than Kong, but I think it's because of this collab.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla and Kong, that is what appeals to the young people.
Absolutely.
This team, and I love that Warner Brothers, and they've been on a streak. Minecraft, Sinners, they got the hot hand, and this announcement shows, hey, maybe these guys know what they're doing over there at Warner Brothers.
I mean, maybe they're pushing out the Looney Tunes so they can make way for Kong.
Yeah.
Kong's the new guy. He's leaning up against the Seal. He's leaning up against the WB.
It's got to be Kong and Godzilla. It's got to be the collab.
Yeah.
They got to have the WB on one side. It's King Kong with his foot up against the W, and the other side it's Godzilla with his tail and they're both smoking cigs, and they're the new logo.
That's the new logo.
Yeah. Very exciting. This is going to be huge.
AJ, what do you think of that Pickens trade? I say good riddance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hot sports talk. Yeah.
Sports talk.
Hey, listen, we're doing 3 hours in the morning. We're going to have to mix in some sports talk. Knicks are ending it. They're ending it on Wednesday, going to the conference finals, going all the way.
Yeah.
We're getting that ring for Spike.
This is the year.
Okay,
so how can Spike have a movie not going to theaters in the year the Knicks could win?
So he's got the movie with Denzel coming out.
It's A24 and Crapple TV Plus.
Yes.
So a double whammy.
And they announce it's going straight to the Crapple TV Plus service, not in theaters. I do think, though, if the Knicks pull this off,
the New York Knickerbockers,
they finish off the Celtics, move on, and finish off the Pacers, I guess, would be next.
Or the Cavaliers. Are the Cavaliers still?
The Cavs are still, but
yeah.
Knicks win the title.
Yeah.
Spike gets his ring.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put his movie in theaters.
You
got to put his movie. Coming off an NBA championship, you can't put. I mean, Spike's movie shouldn't go to streaming anyway, but he's got the ring.
God, he's got to be sitting at BAM with that ring on his finger, watching his movie.
Yeah. And just, because it's 3-hour morning show, some sports talk here. Timmy has been a fixture through this Knicks playoff run.
This is so good for him.
This is huge for him.
If the Knicks win the championship with Timmy on the sidelines,
it's huge.
That's huge for him.
It's the equivalent of he had another $100 million above the title star.
Yeah.
I do think that. Because he's, Spike is the guy he's the number one. He's got the legacy. But this NBA playoff run, Timmy is the new star. Now, and if the Knicks go all the way and Timmy gets, they're going to give him the mic, I'm sure, at the trophies presentation. And again, as a Knicks fan, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
No.
But I do think following this run, this Timmy run through the playoffs is going to be spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into our predictions. Are you ready for some top 5 predictions for the weekend?
Wow.
I think wowie zowie. Let's go there. And when I say wowie zowie, I'm not talking about the in limited release Pavements movie. Not referencing the Pavement album, Wowie Zowie.
Mm-hmm. So you like that Friendship is doing something similar to the Pavements movie? It's just like nobody can watch it.
Listen,
and there's a ton of buzz, but I can't even figure out where it's playing.
There are movies that you still need old-fashioned platforming for, and I think Friendship, and I definitely think the Pavements movie, which is a quasi biopic meta music documentary about the 90s band Pavement. I think that's a good platforming situation. Let's real quick. How excited are you to see Pavements, the Pavement movie?
Super excited. I'm trying to figure out where the hell it's playing.
It's opening in Brooklyn on Thursday night. It's playing at BAM. I may go see it.
Thursday night?
Very excited. Last night.
Is that an invite or that's not an invite?
It's not quite an invite yet.
Okay.
But we could be working our way towards that being an invite.
All right.
I did, just honestly, just for a laugh. I was taking the piss. And I mentioned this movie to my wife. I said, what do you think about this new movie from Alex Ross Perry, someone she's never heard of?
God.
She
was out right there, by the way. I know she was out. She was out.
Right there, she's out. Right there, divorce papers are starting to be filed.
Yeah.
And I said, what about this Alex Ross Perry movie that is a meta musical biopic about Pavement? And she said, why would anyone ever make that?
Okay.
That is what she said to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
not why would you see it? Why would they make it? It shouldn't even exist.
It shouldn't exist.
Okay.
That is what she said. But I am very excited about this. And I think there's others out there, but it will need to be platformed. So let's get into our predictions. I don't think Pavements is going to factor into our top 5, even though Crooked Rain, one of the best albums of all time, still will not factor into our top 5.
Gold Sounds, one of the greatest songs ever written.
So let's do it now. Clayton, would you like to go first or second in the weekend prediction?
Talk about wowie zowie. Okay, so I will go first.
Okay.
And we'll see who's going to get more nuts. Because do you want
I'm going to ask you. Yeah. Okay. Do I want to get nuts?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I would
so
love
let's
to.
get nuts. Number 1, this is a slam doink. The only question is how high will it go?
Method Man.
And I'm talking FD, BL, Final Destination, Bloodlines. I'm doing it. $65 million.
Wow.
$65 million.
Wow. Wowie zowie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Cart me off. Cart me off. Call me whatever you want. Be regressive and call me whatever you want, but I believe in it.
65 million. Okay, love it. What else do you got here?
In number 2. Okay. Again. Number 2, Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think Sinners has another good hold. I know Final Destination is it can be the same group.
Yeah.
But I think Sinners is such a hot movie. People want to see it. They want to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the weekend where it's going to be in some IMAXs, right?
It is. It's going to get some IMAXs from the new Avengers, aka Thunderbolts Asterisk.
So I'm thinking this could make like 18 or 19.
Wow. Okay.
Thunderbolts Asterisk / New Avengers really starts eating ass. Mm-hmm. And I think it drops another 60%. Okay. I think this thing is going to be $14 million.
Wow. Okay.
Nobody wants to see this garbage.
Okay.
Number 4 is going to be a Minecraft movie.
Yep.
And then number 5, does Jenna and The Weeknd make it in there? It almost has to.
You think so? Okay. This would be, I think, the biggest Trey Edward Schultz debut.
No, you know what? It doesn't have to. I'm going to go with The Accountant too.
Okay. I mean, honestly, that's pretty much my top 5. I do think Sinners will come in number 2 over Thunderbolts Asterisk, aka the New Avengers. Then Minecraft, and then Accountant 2. Yeah, Clown in the Cornfields is going to have a big drop. It made $3.6 million last weekend, but it's
going up against a horror buzzsaw.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the clown's name?
His name is Friendo. It's the endo for Friendo. Yeah. So, man, you went 65. Final Destination's Bloodlines. I think I can't go that high.
Yeah, that's high.
That's high. I'll go 59.
59. Okay, 59. Well, that's still really
high. I think
high.
It flirts with 60.
Okay.
I don't think it gets to 60 because it just doesn't have a Michael Myers, legendary figure. But it's gonna be huge. This is the kickoff to summer. The barbecue scene in Final Destination Bloodline trailer is a phenomenon. I'm so excited. I'm excited
too.
We got that coming out. We got Pavements.
Yeah, I'm excited. I might get invited by someone to go see Pavements on Thursday night. Yep. Maybe.
Big. I mean, that's our cliffhanger for the next episode.
So you're not going to do it on air. You will not commit to it on air.
I cannot commit on air at this moment.
Okay.
I cannot.
Cool.
So,
well, what if Clemmer texted you right now and was like Pavements?
Oh, I'd love that.
Or are you going with him?
We'll find out. Right. We'll find out.
That's the cliffhanger.
That's the big cliffhanger. We will reveal it on the next episode of the BO Boys, along with the opening weekend analysis of Final Destination Bloodlines. How high does it go? We will find out.
How high does it go?
We will find out.
Question.
That is the question that will be answered. So email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. We want to get your boots on the ground reporting. Love getting your analysis and letting us know things like that. The new collab is coming out. Love getting those emails, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at theboboyspod. Of course, wannabe OVP of interns Christopher, killing it with the vertical clips on Instagram, on TikTok. He's a grad now, but that doesn't mean he stops making vertical clips. That's forever. That you do that for life, and he knows that. And congrats again. We are Penn State, including Christopher. Now he's officially Penn State. So follow us at the BO Boys Pod. Subscribe to the Substack. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Of course, we are YouTubers. Hey guys. You got to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is the place to be. I mean, look at the beautiful studio behind us. You gotta see the images. You gotta get the visual.
Yeah.
To get the whole story.
Getting the whole story, yeah.
And I think that is it, Clayton. I got nothing left.
Pat, I finished.
Great.
And you've said it all.
Yes, of course.
There's nothing left to be said.
All right, so I can leave the studio.
Except for, until next time, we'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey, guys.